What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, we're gonna go over the trades from this morning. Yesterday, in my game plan and watch list for today, I put WKEY as my #1 top watch, and let's jump on the chart and see what it did. Boom, this stock right now is up 48%. That's not bad, but you know what? I didn't trade it. And the reason that I didn't trade it was because pre-market, it was pretty much dead. And then coming into the open, it all of a sudden squeezed up right before the opening bell. And I just felt like I didn't want to chase it. That was kind of a tricky window for me to jump in there. The problem for me is that I start the morning typically around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm trading pre-market. And up till 9:30, that's when we get companies that are putting out breaking news, and we get these typically big squeezes during the pre-market session. Remember, pre-market, there's no market orders, but there's also no halt levels. And so we can see incredible pre-market moves. This is also true with after hours. So coming into 9:30, we often see kind of in the last 5 minutes before the open and the first 5 minutes after the open, that 10-minute window can be very volatile, where stocks will pop up and then they'll drop down. And if you think about it, they're traders that put out orders to buy or sell stock, but they're good till cancel orders. Those orders don't execute pre-market. Even if the stock is well above the price of their order, that order doesn't execute until when? 9:30. And then right at the opening bell, you can have this flurry of orders that are going through, and you don't know what they're going to look like. They could be people selling and taking profit. They could be buyers, could be short covering. But nonetheless, because it's unknown, I try to kind of be hands off during that window. So the result today was that WKEY ends up making this big move, but it does it kind of at this, what I thought was a little bit of a funny time of day. And so I decided not to trade it at all. It ended up squeezing from 850 up to 950, pulled back, moved up to 1045, 1050. If you recall from the recap or the game plan yesterday, I said daily level at 1045. And if we could break 1045, we had room up to 12. And that's basically exactly what happened. 1045 resistance and then gap fill up to 12. The gap was created way back here in 2022 when in one day the stock dropped from what looks like 12, but it's had reverse splits. But nonetheless, it dropped from 12 all the way down to about 6. So it dropped 50% overnight. Over the course of the next 6 months, it was down, and then it kind of rallied up a little bit, sold off, and in May of 2023, it ripped from $5 all the way up to 10. It held up there for a couple days and then created that double top and then came back down. So then all of a sudden here we get this squeeze from 250 up to 6 to 7 to 8. And then, of course, this was on the SpaceX news. And then today we break through 1045, we go up to 12, we fill the gap, and we even push a little bit higher. So if we look at the 5-minute chart, we look at the 1-minute chart, you can see this first move came pretty much right up to this 1045, 1050 level, right around here. So that was pre-market at 4 a.m. And that was sort of my prediction, was that at 4 a.m. we would probably see a little squeeze. And you did, but it was nothing crazy. It then pulled back to 850 and was sort of going like this pre-market. I watched it in this area here for a break potentially over VWAP, but I just said, you know what? It's below VWAP. It just doesn't feel safe. I think I'm going to leave it alone. It's just not worth it. And that was the right move at that time. It didn't work. But then obviously it came up here and I could have jumped in there. I could have jumped in there. But one of the other issues today was that I didn't really have as much profit as I've had on other days. I'm sitting right now at $5,051.09, which means I'm $51.09 above my daily goal. It's a green day. I'm grateful for it, but you know, I don't really want to, I don't have any big trades today. It was not a particularly easy day. So let's go back to the first trade of the day, and that was on SAU. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, SAU is the leading percentage gainer. It's up about 60%. It's pulled back a little bit and does an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And I bought right here as we broke this level and caught that spike right into the 7 a.m. open. 7 a.m. open, I kind of call it that. But that's when most retail traders are coming online, because most retail brokers don't allow you to trade prior to 7 a.m. Even though the market opens at 4 a.m. for pre-market, a lot of brokers don't let you trade that early. They just don't want customer support staff on, so they just don't even let people trade. Anyway, so starting at 7 a.m., we got that squeeze there. That gave me $1,600. That put me on the leaderboard. I was like, all right, that's good. Next trade, CETX. So CETX, this one pops up, hits the scanner, and I did this micro pullback right here in at about 418. We got the pop up to 440, 450. Actually hit a high there of 457. And, I locked up $785 on it. It was not a big winner. It was not a super clean trade, but I took the win and then was ready to move on to the next one. Now, at that moment, if you watch my dip class from last week, I bought, looking at the 10-second chart, the stock had popped up, it pulled back right here, and then it popped. Unfortunately, a high volume red candle marked the high of day, and it reversed here, which was not so great. So that was CETX. Then we had NMHI. Okay, so this one's not so pretty either. Look at this chart. So this stock hits the scanners at, what was it? 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. it hits the scanner. And when it first hits the scanner, I jumped in it and I lost. So first trade I was in and lost. I bought, and let's see, it was right here. So I actually bought right here and it goes up to 305 and then dumps back down and I lost $600. So I was like, all right, well, that's fine. And then it comes up again and I say, you know what, I'm going to jump back in. And you know what's actually kind of funny on this? I had my buy order. I had my buy order like this on NMHI, and I had it for 2,500 shares. My order was at like 325 or something like that. And I had my hand right here, and I don't even really know what happened. Like my thumb kind of twitched, and I accidentally clicked the buy button, and I was in. And I was like, well, I've got a starter at 295. I don't know. But I kind of went with it because I was watching it closely. I just don't know who pressed the button to buy because my thumb was sitting there, but all of a sudden it pushed down. So anyways, so then I'm in and I thought, well, okay, I'm in this. And then I added as it broke through the high of 310, 315, and we got to move up to 370. Not bad. So that gave me about $2,600 of profit. I tried to do a dip here for this next move up. Ended up giving back a couple hundred off the top. I peaked today at about 5,500 or 5,400 and then started giving back a little profit on this one. Once it, again, rejected here, it just felt there were way too many sellers. There were a lot of sellers on this one and it was not holding up well. And it was pretty obvious pretty early on that it was just too thickly traded and it wasn't holding up. So then, after giving back a little off the top, I just was sitting here. That was 8:30, then 8:45, 9 a.m. We got nothing. WKEY, I still had my eye on it, but it wasn't giving us anything to work with. And then in the 5 minutes right before the open, it starts to kind of perk up. But at that time, I just sort of thought, I don't even know if this is really obvious enough. It was coming up to VWAP right here. So then right in the first 5 minutes of the open, it breaks VWAP, little topping tail, it pulls back up to 1066, pulls back. And then, I could have taken that trade, but I did not. So anyways, I left some money on the table today, but I'm walking away with profit, which is good. And if we look at my metrics from just from this last week or so, let's see, last week, it was last Monday. Last Monday, yeah, I was only up $1,100. That was a really slow day. That was after fees and commissions. It was $1,100. So you know what? Today's better than last week, that's for sure. And I got to be grateful for it. So got a nice green day here to start the week. And then if we look at the calendar, how many days left do we have in December? Well, we've got this whole week here. And what happened to Thursday? I'll have to go check to see where my Thursday trades are. But anyways, we had this whole week here. So this week right now, 5 days. And then next week, market's closed for Christmas, for the holiday. And then it's going to be closed on January 1st. So we're going to have 2 weeks where we the market split right in the middle, right? We'll have Monday and Tuesday, and then it's closed. And then, Thursday and Friday, I don't know what volume's going to look like. So realistically, I'm starting to get thinking about January, right? So it'll be January 5th and then 6th, Monday the 6th. That'll be kind of, really like getting into the swing of things for the new year. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And right now, I just want to try to finish the year strong. We've got 2 weeks left, well, 3 weeks left, but, basically, I don't know, like 14, 8. Yeah, so we've got about like 12, 15 trading days left. But anyways, let's try to make the most of it. Let's try to have some good days. And that means managing risk and thinking about, is this stock that I'm looking at right now obvious? Is this the one to focus on? And, I always like to kind of just ease off the throttle a little bit when I'm not totally sure. So look, if I see one tomorrow that I love, I'll be pedal to the metal. I'll be aggressive on it. But today I just felt like nothing quite looked exactly right. So took it a little bit more slowly. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. And if you want to do a 2-week trial, I'll put a link down. I'll pin it to the top of the comments and link in the description. So you could do a 2-week trial. It's $20. You could watch over my shoulder for the next couple weeks and see what it's like to be part of this community. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be jumping into the new year, January, right around the corner. All right, so thanks as always for tuning in. I'll see you guys for the next episode tomorrow.